Breakfast on Talk Radio Europe.
Wake up with Hannah. Hannah Murray.
Good morning. Joining us on the line now from the UK is Martin Roberts, one of the UK's most respected property, travel and lifestyle TV presenters and journalists. For nearly 14 years, he's written and presented the hit BBC property auction show Homes Under the Hammer and is the author of the best-selling Making Money from Property. He was also a much-loved contestant of last year's I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Well, he's with us on The Breakfast Show because he's launching the UK's first Achieve Expo in Bath this October. There's going to be various speakers, including Frank Bruno, Eddie the Eagle Edwards, Sir Ranulph Fiennes, Ruby Wax, and last year's Apprentice winner, Alana Spencer. Welcome to the show, Martin.
That sounds like a good thing. I'm going to go to that. Good morning, Hannah.
Sounds great, doesn't it? Oh, thanks so much for joining us, Martin.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Before we talk about the Expo Achieve that's happening in October, I have to ask you about your career, your TV career and property career. What got you into property?
Well, I grew up in a house where my dad did loads of DIY. So I grew up surrounded by tools and filler and, half-used bits of paper, wallpaper and stuff. So it's sort of in my blood. And then when I bought my first house, I naturally did what I'd been brought up to do, which was renovate things. So I'd put a new kitchen in, a new bathroom. And then 2 years later, I sold it for twice what I paid for it. And in that time, I'd started out my career in radio. And as you know, radio pays absolutely diddly squat. So in the time I was earning £25 a week doing my radio stuff, my house went up like 20 grand. And I suddenly thought, hang on a minute, there's an opportunity here. Maybe houses aren't just something that you live in. They're something that can be an investment. And sort of my property developing career sort of progressed from that, really. At the same time I was carrying on, I was doing a lot of travel writing and travel reporting. So I did a show that some of the people listening might remember called Wish You Were Here with Judith Chalmers. And, it came out to Spain quite a few times. And, so it was a great time. But at the same time, I was always carrying on doing the property stuff to pay the bills.
And when the property stuff became TV, did you think that it would last as long as it has done, Homes Under the Hammer particularly?
Oh, no idea, Hannah. Honestly, you make a pilot programme, you do your best, and they commission 10 programmes. And then it went down really well, so they commissioned another 20 programmes, and then they commissioned another 30 programmes, and then the last commission was like 160 programmes. We are 14 years, 1,400 programmes, and about 5,000 terraced houses in Stoke later.
Fantastic. Why do you think it stood the test of time? What is it do you think that people enjoy about watching the show?
It's got such an amazing presenter. No, I'm joking.
Good answer.
You know what? Joking aside, I'd like to think that I have something to do with it. In the fact that I do actually do what I'm talking about on the telly. So I'm currently down at my house in Dartmouth in Devon, just renovating. So I've got my hands covered in that disgusting expanding foam stuff, which if anyone's ever used that, it's just devil of a stuff to get off. So I'm actually here, I've got dirty fingernails, I actually live and breathe it. So I think that enables me to talk with knowledge when I'm doing the show. So I'm not just saying somebody else's script. I write all my own material, and I just turn up in a house and I just treat it, and view it like I would view my own house. And so hopefully I can pass on some of that knowledge to the viewer, really. And so I think there's that. And then there's also, we just love property, don't we? We love the voyeuristic side of it. We love saying, oh, what would I do? But the other thing I think about Homes Under the Hammer is that, it is an accessible opportunity for people. You do see people who you could relate to and go, well, maybe I could have a go at that. And in fact, I do meet quite a few people who say, we were inspired by you to have a go ourselves, and now we've got a little portfolio of properties. And that's hugely satisfying, really.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. There were many times where I'm sure you wanted to say it, were there?
Yeah, but I never would. Can you imagine ever coming back and going, well, actually, I want to... it was a challenge. It was tough at times. But overall, what an experience, and you felt very privileged, actually, because you've got this sort of... You're there in the jungle. You don't know what's going on outside in the outside world, which is probably just a good thing. But you do know that there's a team of, believe it or not, 800 people working on this show. And, you can't see them. They're somewhere in the jungle. But when you come out, you go to to the village, the production village, and it literally is that. It's the size of a small town. As I said, 800 people working on the show. So it's probably the nearest thing I'll ever come to being in a Hollywood movie, where you just got such a team, and there's just the 12 people in the jungle there, and it's been running for 16 years. There's less than 200 people have ever done it, and I'm one of them. And I was really proud of how it all turned out in the end, and thank you to everyone who voted for me. I lasted a lot longer than anybody said I would last, and I was really proud, actually.
And I was pleased to read that you've made up with Larry Lamb, which is nice, because you had a tough time with him, didn't you?
I did. It's the pressures of the jungle, It sort of, I think we both said if we'd met at a party, it would have been, hunky dory. But
yeah.
It does, bring out. It just stretch the emotional boundaries a bit when you go in there. You're hungry. You're away from your family. You're tired. And you're thrown into a fairly closed environment with a group of complete strangers. And in life, you just sort of move away from people you didn't necessarily get on with. But in that circumstance, you have to stick it out. And it just shows us some interesting experiences. And but yeah, we made it in the end.
Lovely. I think it's interesting. I think a lot of people watching at home, it's very easy for people to be judgmental when you're sitting at home on the comfort of your sofa going, oh, I can't believe he said that, or oh, I can't believe he reacted like that. But as you say, being in that situation, it must be really tough. And I think most people would struggle.
Yes, I mean, there's a lot of people think it's a fudge, People think there's a pizza delivery van, and a Winnebago with a masseur, when they stop filming. Absolutely not. It's worse than it looks, to be honest. I mean, for a start, you're in a hotel, completely isolated for a week before you go in. So they take away your phone, they take away your computer, and you're locked, what they call lockdown, in a hotel in Australia. And that sort of really, not able to call your family, not able to speak to anybody. So that immediately starts you getting into a mental state of this is a bit weird. And then so by the time you arrive in the jungle, you're already heightened. And of course, that's what they want. They want to, they've only got a month to make a show, so they want to accelerate people's natural tendencies and accelerate those emotions, and they do it very successfully.
Yeah. And are you still friends with some of the guys? Do you meet up?
Yes, I am. It's Adam Thomas's wedding in August. So I think we're going to have a big reunion there, and I've got a few sneaky tricks lined up, which he doesn't know about. So because we played practical jokes on each other. So I'm just wondering quite how far at his wedding I can go with my practical jokery.
Oh, I feel nervous for him.
Currently I'm feeling pretty wicked, I'll be honest, Hannah. So you probably read about it in OK Magazine.
Fabulous. Look forward to it. So this Achieve Expo that's happening in October, how did you become involved in it?
Well, I'm the founder of it. It's my idea, and it literally came about because of the jungle. In a short space of time, from doing a bit more exercise, from eating although it's a weird diet, it's a fairly simple diet, and also cutting out a lot of things that maybe I've been eating before or doing before, I noticed a massive difference to the way I felt. I felt so much healthier. I lost a lot of weight. I lost about 2 stone. I had asthma previously, and I managed to somehow, my asthma just has gone. And it just got me thinking that in a relatively short amount of time, the things that you can do to change your life are quite dramatic. And so I started looking into the world of nutrition and health and well-being and mindfulness. And, I just got fascinated by it to the point where I thought, I want to bring together the latest thoughts about nutrition and health and wealth creation and wealth management, and just create an exhibition where we have 14 speakers over 2 days who are at the top of their tree, either as motivational people who've achieved things like Sir Ranulph Fiennes, like Eddie the Eagle Edwards, people who are in the world of health and nutrition like Deliciously Ella, coming along and talking about the latest things that are going on there. We've got Dale Pinnock, who's the medicinal chef, who's creating a dinner for our gala dinner, and just really and Lana Spencer, as you said, the winner of The Apprentice, to just hearing from those people and then have an exhibition of like 50 or 60 exhibitors just showcasing the latest in technologies and thoughts about nutrition and health. And with the thought that just inspiring people that, you know, you don't have to commit to this long term. You can actually do something quite short term and quite quickly, and you will notice big results, like it happened to me in the jungle. And I think if most people thought that they could make a big difference to their lives, the way they felt emotionally or physically or health-wise, and it would only necessarily take perhaps 2 weeks before they started noticing a big difference, I think a lot of people would be more inclined to do it. It's the thought of lettuce leaves for 6 months that sort of puts you off starting a diet, you know. So that's what I wanted to bring together. And so we've got this exhibition. It's October the 14th and 15th. As you say, it's in Bath. It's the assembly rooms, and I'm really delighted with the way it's coming together.
Fantastic. As you say, when you've had feedback from people watching Homes Under the Hammer and they say that you've inspired them to start getting into property, things like this with speakers who have done it themselves, have achieved great things, people listening to these people speak hopefully will do exactly what you're trying to achieve and inspire them to make changes.
Well, exactly that. You know, and like, you know, I mean, it sounds a bit strange, but I do get, you know, a sense of great pride when I speak to people who, you know, listen to what I've said on Homes Under the Hammer and got ahead and done it and changed their lives for the better. And I'm hoping the same kind of things for Achieve. You know, people come along, they see something, they do something, they make a big change to their health or their well-being or their finances. You know, that's pretty cool. You know, to be able to have that kind of influence and bring that kind of thing together. I've never done an exhibition before, so you have no idea how complicated and how much effort it is to put on an exhibition. But I've got a wonderful team of people working with me, and you know, we're rocking and rolling. So we're taking pre-reg. It's free to attend. The speakers you have to pay for. They're all individually priced, but they're very reasonably priced. So people can pre-register just to come along, and it's achieve.co.uk is the website. And yeah, I mean, I just hope that I can help people achieve whatever they want to achieve, and that doesn't have to be big things. It can be little changes in their life which make a big difference.
That's often the key, isn't it? Starting small.
Yes, because you don't embark on things if you see it as a massive thing. Like I said, if you think I'm going to have to commit 6 months of my life to something here, then you just go, oh, I can't be bothered, pass a cheeseburger. But actually, if it's something, you know, just commit 2 weeks. See what happens in 2 weeks. Like happened to me in the jungle. Just 2 weeks. Give it, you know, that's nothing in terms of time, really. Just commit seriously for 2 weeks. And at the end of it, if you've noticed no difference, well, with what have you lost? Nothing. But actually, at the end of 2 weeks, you know, will be health, nutrition, welfare, mindfulness, you know, positivity, or sorting out your finances. You know, you would notice such a difference that you'd go, right, I'm going to carry on with this. And that could be a life shift, which you take with you for the rest of your life.
Definitely. Well, if people want to find out more information, achieve.co.uk, as you said, is the website, and people can book for the various speakers on there as well. Martin Roberts, thank you so much for joining us. It's been lovely to chat with you.
It's been lovely to talk to you too, Hannah. Have a great day, and a great day to all your listeners.
Thanks, Martin.
TRE Talk Radio Europe.